How you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends 6-inch 90s Iceman figure from Hasbro. Now this figure is part of the new vintage X-Men subline. It comes packaged in a regular card back type design that's made to look like the old Toy Biz 5-inch X-Men packaging. I really love the style of this packaging. It brings back memories. And I would love to see Hasbro actually kind of flip to this type of packaging. I mean, it doesn't have to have the Toy Biz design. It could be something more modern, but I like this kind of card back packaging that they're using with these as opposed to the boxes that they use with the regular line. It's much harder to get open, so it'll make it harder for people to swap out figures, I think. It hangs better on your wall if you want to display it that way. And again, I just think it looks much nicer than the boxes they currently use. Now you've got the X-Men logo for these, again, reminiscent of the old Toy Biz packaging. You've got the X-Men logo up at the top. You've got the orange card back. You've got the 80-year anniversary logo up at the top there. And then you've got a cool image of Iceman. And then you've got a description of the accessory and the name down below. On the back of the packaging, it's again made to look like the old Toy Biz style of packaging. So on this side, you've got images of the other figures in this wave, and then you've got a bio in multiple languages. All right, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now, because this is part of a subline, there are no Build-A-Figure pieces, and the only accessory that you get with this one is this little miniature ice slide. It's really more like just a display stand with a little foot peg that's made to look like ice. I wouldn't really call this an actual ice slide. It would have been nice if they had made this a little bigger, maybe had gone up and over a little bit, so it looked like he was actually, riding on an ice slide. But I mean, you can kind of get him in some positions so it looks like he's forming an ice slide, if he was just starting to form one, and you just plug the foot in. Again, there's only one foot peg, so you can put it in, have him stand on the left or the right. And, like I said, you can try and play with it so it looks like he is starting to form an ice slide, but it would have been nice if they'd made this a little bit bigger. Okay, so for the figure itself, now this is not just the same figure that they gave us last time when they did Iceman. It is a different body. We have seen this body before in the line. It's the same body that they used with the recent Quicksilver figure and the 3-pack with Magneto and Scarlet Witch that I reviewed the other week. They've also used it on the recent Sunfire figure they did and Spider-Man figures and stuff. So we've seen this body before, but it is different from the previous Iceman. And big difference is it's just a much thicker looking body. It seems to have more muscle mass. Obviously, you don't have any of the jaggedness on that previous one. And then the other big difference between that one and this one is it's not nearly as translucent. This previous Iceman they did was much more translucent looking and also had a much more blue tint to it. So this one is a little translucent if you put the light up behind it, and I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but you can see a little bit through there, so at certain portions. But for the most part, I would say it's much more solid looking. Again, definitely much more solid looking than the previous Iceman. And you've got this, they've done this kind of shiny, almost metallic looking white color. And it actually, it looks like ice. It picks up the light very nicely. So I like the look of it. With the eyes on the head sculpt there, I'll zoom in a little bit. So you can see, his eyes are whited out and his ears are sculpted, and you can't make out any of his hair. But overall, I think the detail is pretty good. And then again, very smooth, no jaggedness, no jagged ice pieces, which is in keeping with how he appeared in the comics back in the 90s. And he's got the belt there. Now, I do want to say in the comics, the belt was actually on the inside of the ice, and you could just kind of make it out through the ice. You could see the X through the ice. But on this one, the belt is on the outside. I guess they couldn't do it. They didn't have a way of really doing it under the ice. But, I think it looks pretty good. It is a separate piece. The belt's made with just a rubber material. All the X-Men, even Iceman, you could always had an X on them back in the 90s. And, that told you they were X-Men. So I like that detailing. And then with the legs, again, very smooth. And you got that white detailing. It picks up the light nicely. And the feet as well. So nothing, terribly new. Again, we've seen this body before, but I do like it for Iceman. I also, not only does it really kind of capture the 90s look of Iceman, I also think it captures the look of him from the old cartoon Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. I'd love to see maybe a 3-pack with Iceman, Spider-Man, a new Spider-Man, and Firestar. That would be really awesome if Hasbro wanted to do that. I mean, if Hasbro wants to give us Firestar in a single pack, that's fine too. But again, I think this would make a great 3-pack with Spider-Man and Firestar for our Spider-Man's Amazing Friends set. So this figure stands about 6 1/4 inches tall. Here's a comparison of the most recent Iceman that we previously gotten from Hasbro. Now I don't have that Iceman figure they did for that Toys R Us exclusive original X-Men box set, so I can't give you a comparison of that one. But I want to say, based on images and stuff I've seen, I do like this new one better than that one, and I also like it better than this recent one. Here's a comparison of the older Toy Biz Iceman figure, which is essentially the same style. And overall, while the Toy Biz figure was pretty good, I do like this new one a little bit better. Here's a comparison of the new 90s Storm figure, also shipping in the same wave. I reviewed the Storm figure the other day. If you haven't checked that review out, please do. I'll put a link to it in the video description below. Here's a comparison of the 90s versions of his original X-Men teammates. So we've got the Jim Lee Cyclops, Archangel, Jean Grey, and the new Beast figure. And I think all of these look pretty good together. And finally, here's a comparison of one of Hasbro's most recent Spider-Man figures. You know, take this Spider-Man, or maybe even give us a new Spider-Man, and take this Iceman, take the belt off, and throw in a Firestar, and I think you've got a really cool box set that a lot of people who grew up on the old cartoon would really enjoy. So for articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. It's on a ball hinge joint, so he can look down really good, and he can look up really good as well. You get a little head pivot, but not too much with this one. With the arms, you can get the arms out good. You've got good rotation there at the shoulder. You also have the butterfly type joint, so you've got the back and forth movement. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got a double jointed elbow, so pretty good bending there. With this one, you have 2 closed fists. It would have been cool if maybe they'd given us an open hand so you could make it look like he's shooting ice, but as it is, you just get the 2 closed fists. You've got rotation with the hands, and you've got the hinges, so you've got the up and down movement. You've got an ab crunch joint, so he can crunch forward about that much, and then he can look back pretty good as well. You get that clicky noise with this one. He also has a waist swivel. With the legs, he can only do the splits about that much, and then you can get the leg forward pretty good, and you can do the leg out and back about that much. You've got a thigh swivel, you've got a double jointed knee, so good bending there at the knee. You've got a boot cuff swivel, and then with the feet, you've got hinges, and of course you do have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So I like this figure. I actually like it better than the previous Iceman, mainly just because I like this look for the character better. I like the smoother look. I like this body with the more muscle tone. It's not a new body or anything, but I think it works better for the character. I know the character, his appearance has changed over the years, and there have been times where he does look much thinner, so I don't fault the previous figure. Again, I just prefer this look for the character. I like the paint applications. They pick up the light nicely, and to me it does look like actual ice, so I think that's cool. It would have been cool if they could have gotten the belt under the ice, but I understand why they probably couldn't do that and still have the figure look good. And it's possible even at times in the comics, and definitely in the cartoon, where the belt was on the outside. I don't really remember. But my only real complaint probably is it would have been nice if we had gotten a larger ice to go along with the figure. But if Hasbro ever does a box set, a Spider-Man's Amazing Friends box set with Firestar, maybe they can stick in a larger ice slide with the Iceman figure. Now this wave has started to see a limited release. Places like Robot Kingdom, which is an overseas e-tailer, has started to ship it. That's where I got mine. But for the rest of you in the United States, you may have a few more weeks to go. I think the official release date is early August, though we might see it earlier, I don't know. But again, I wouldn't expect to see this wave for at least a few more weeks here in the United States. Now we'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.